Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Cryptids and Monsters Encounters video. I thought I would mix another one of these in here, mainly because this has to do with a cryptid that is definitely a fan favorite. It was one that was asked for so many years on my channel. I finally decided to talk about it, mainly because it's a great way to show more information on it, but also as a nice thank you for all the fans out there. But yes, it involves the cryptid known as the Wendigo. Very famous cryptid, no, definitely an all-star. If you haven't seen my video on it before, I'll include the link for it below. That way you can check it out. This one, though, is an encounter with an actual Wendigo. Interesting stuff. And interestingly enough, it was there within one of the Skinwalkers subforums. There's a little bit of similarities, right? When it comes to some people consider the Wendigo the same as the Skinwalker and vice versa. But I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on it. But yes, it comes from the reddit.com website. They're from the subreddit Skinwalkers, from a user called OKReading4915, and they titled theirs as My Encounter with a Wendigo. So let's go ahead and let's share that info here. I'll give my own thoughts and opinions afterward. And then I'd love to hear what your comments are on this very unique encounter too. So here's essentially what happened. A few months ago, me, and then being 16 years old, my sibling, 12, my friends, looks like they placed the initials D, a C, and L, age 16, 13, and 24, were at a hiking trail a few miles from our house. The trail is 9 miles long with heavy woods surrounding the entirety of it. When you walk about a quarter of the trail, there's a bend where you can take a seat and look at the river. There's a small bench and a book people can leave messages in. And so we had walked to the bend and took a quick break. By the time we got there, the sun had started to set. You could hear the bugs all around you and hear the wildlife in the trees and bushes. And after a few minutes, we continued walking and made our way to the other side of the trail where there's a clearing. And so we walked down that dirt trail, and on both sides there's ditches full of tall grass, nearly 4 feet tall. Now about 100 feet from the trail is the woods we just came out of, and on the other side there's also woods, but on private property. And so we keep walking down the trail, and we get about 50 feet from the clearing when we all hear a man screaming from inside the woods. At first, we couldn't make out what he had screamed. We just know we all heard it. And so we all stopped dead in our tracks, looked between each other, trying to figure out what he was screaming. Immediately after C says, "What was that?" we hear the man scream again. This time it was very clear. We hear the man screaming, "Help me, help me." At this point, we have no idea who this man is, where he was, or if he was even a man. A few seconds go by, and L yelled back out to the man if they needed help, and so we get no response. And so we stare at each other in disbelief for about a minute, wondering what to do. We discussed the possibilities of what it could be, wondering if it really was a man crying out for help or if it was something else. And so we decided to keep walking down the trail after it was silent for a few minutes. We didn't hear any more screams or yells, but we did hear heavy footsteps in the woods, something that wasn't human. On the walk out of the trail, we took pictures of the trees and caught a pair of glowing eyes in a few pictures. We know these were not lightning bugs, as they were all lower to the ground. The eyes were an orange-red color and far back peeking between the trees near us. And so we took pictures every few feet, and there would be the same eyes following along with us. And so we were near the end of the trail. We heard the same male voice screaming something, but this time we couldn't understand it. Nothing else happened on the trail, and we haven't gone back since. I've lost a picture of the eyes, even though I know I saved them and put them in a folder. And so about a week later, I was sitting outside around 3 or 4 a.m. when I heard a scream. This was the same scream we heard on the trail. It was the same man screaming for help again. And so my friend D came outside asking if I had heard it. They were inside next to the door about to come out. The man screamed over and over again. We heard footsteps vetting closer to us, and so we decided it was best to go inside and lock the doors. We didn't talk about it that night as we were too scared. it would get closer. We all believe we encountered a Wendigo. There's been a lot of sightings in the Great Plains where I live. At first, we thought it could have been a skinwalker, but we never saw an animal or anything that would be specific to one. We live in a big college town. We think the Wendigo heard one of the college student voices and made a ploy for help to lure us in. We never investigated. We never went back. We never followed its cries for help. We were all worried that it could have been a real man in danger. The following week, we were all keeping our eyes out for news reports about someone drowning or being in some sort of accident on the trail, as it's a very popular place to hike, but there was never any reports made of anything, and we all believe we encountered a Wendigo those nights. And then that's it. That's everything that the user OKReading4915 stated in their encounter. So lots to talk about here. For starters, I like that they kept the anonymity associated with this encounter, keeping the initials rather than the names, although they could have used fake names still, but otherwise that helps. That shows the fear in them when it comes to, not showcasing who they are or who their friends are, helps keep that anonymity. And then here you have what could be an encounter with a Wendigo. Scary stuff. I was getting the chills when I was reading that information. First, about the scream. I've been in that situation before where you're in a trail. The trail goes somewhere into some forest/wildlife, and all you see is trees and bushes, some dirt trails, and that's it. You're there by yourself. In fact, that was over at the near the Presidio La Bahia. There's another one called Mission Espiritu Santo. There's a dirt trail that goes way into some kind of foresty area, and that's where there's a haunted wolf, ghost wolf that seems to roam about there too. So I've been in that same situation where you're in that trail, you're by yourself, and then you see something like this. I didn't see that necessarily, but I know the environment that they were in. So hearing something like that, a man all of a sudden screaming inside the woods, help me, help me. I imagine it must have been very guttural too, like very just eerie inducing to hear something like that. I would immediately, again, not do anything as far as finding out what's going on. It seems too dangerous to do so. That fear alert comes in, especially with those bugs in your stomach telling you to get out. That's the type of stuff that they were feeling. That's the type of stuff I would feel too. But then things took another weird turn with those eyes. I was getting the heebie-jeebies on that too, because here you have a set of glowing eyes that not only that they saw once, but it looks like it was following them step by step by step. They were going back from the trails to the exit/entrance that they came from. And then here you had these eyes that they would take pictures of every now and then, and they saw that it was following them. Talk about creepy stuff. I mean, that's the kind of stuff of nightmares right there. And then just when they thought it was over, that's when they realized that it seemed to have followed them home. Wherever they lived there in the Great Plains. Someone let me know too if that's really is Wendigo territory, or if you happen to be there in the local area. But yes, there they were, just sitting outside and then nonchalantly at their home. And then they heard that same scream, same words as well. Clearly, it had followed them home, and then now it was almost taunting them. It was almost like trying to get their attention in the most scariest way fashion. So crazy stuff when it comes to that. Makes sense too that they didn't have any news stories showcasing somebody found dead or someone else, in danger, found in danger within that vicinity as they were looking for those news reports. This was absolutely just something else entirely eerie. The bad thing is there wasn't any indication of, let's say, more descriptions other than those eyes, which were considered orange-red color. That was about it. No other indication of what the Wendigo could have been like, more animalistic, or what type of design it had. There's variations of them, of course, being from gauntly animals with skin hanging and bones protruding to other type of features. But in this case, it was just a yellow set, almost like an orange-red type of eyes that were just staring at them. Freaky, freaky stuff. But if anybody has any more info, anything else I might have missed on this type of encounter with a Wendigo, let me know. And again, please check out my video that I've done before on it. I'll include the link for it below. You can take a look And then just in case if anyone has their own Wendigo encounters, love to hear what those are too. Just please post them in the comments. As always, share them with someone else out there too. But that's it. But again, thank you so much, everybody. Have a good night. Take care. Bye.